If one day I were to be somebody that you used to know. 30th April 1999. Dear Diary. Oh my god, it's been so long since I wrote a diary. Alright, so I'm Alicia Jasmine. My brother Nick is married to a brunette girl, Hannah. And meanwhile, I live with Daddy. Mommy died when I was 3 in a car crash. I miss her deeply. I wish she was here. Being a teenage girl really is no fun when no one understands you. Mommy would listen to my every problem, from periods to boys. My hometown is London, but I moved to Brighton when I was 9. Daddy was so insistent regarding joining a prestigious school, so now I am in an all-girls boarding school just a few kilometers from home. All-girls boarding school of Brighton, AGBSB. Boarding school is harsh. The fact I only get to see my family every 2 weeks is already hard. Imagine having to deal with mean girls all the time. Sigh. Alicia. I was pushed into mud. Ugh, gross, Amy. You didn't have to do that, I exclaimed. Oh no, I am so sorry. I thought I was a weakling, she mocked while helping me up. I rolled my eyes at her while standing up. This is Amy Rachel Ashton, my best friend ever since I moved to Brighton. She's pretty small, but don't let that fool anyone, because she's strong. We both applied for AGBSB and by some miracle qualified. Without her though, I might not survive all the mean girls in this school. Like the saying goes, I have the brains and she has the bronze. We're both 15 and I think she is the bestest friend I will ever have. Probably since I have no other choice. Amy helped me clean up and get to class quickly because recess had ended. We ran into class. Oh my god, Amy, we're 10 minutes late because of you. Ugh. She whined, I'm sorry, I really am. When we got to class, Madam Tan stared at us with her horrifying eyes. And I mean it. She might shoot lasers at us. We apologized before quickly taking a seat. Jessica, who was behind us, pulled my hair. Hey, you got some brown in your blonde hair. Oh my god. I know, just leave it, she scoffed. I'm just trying to help. The bell rang and it indicated that we could go back to our respective dormitories. I checked the calendar. 2 weeks. 2 more weeks until I can actually lay down on my own bed. Ugh. 2 weeks later. Nick! This time, instead of our driver picking us up, it's Nick. Amy usually rides with us because her parents are always away. Her parents are in Japan now. They'll be home tomorrow, so she's staying with us for the night. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I hope they do something special. 14th May, 1999. It's exactly 12 a.m. right now and James just texted me to open the door. He's coming into the living room with something in his hands. He's adorbs, from his brown hair to his tall figure. Every part of him is too cute to be true. The lights went off and I gasped. I sat quietly when James came out in front of me, flashing light into my eyes. Oops, sorry love. I smiled as he maneuvered the flashlight somewhere else. But before I knew it, the light went towards a whole cake in his hands that were clearly homemade. I giggled when the lights came back on and everyone, Amy, Nick, Hannah, and Daddy, started singing. There were a lot of gifts waiting, including a Jellycat cake plushie from James. I'm 16 now, Mommy. Alicia. I woke up on the couch the next morning with James watching the TV beside me. Amy was eating cereal at the dinner table and everyone else at work. I smiled. Last night was really fun. I want to recreate it. Happy birthday, Alicia, said James. I stood up and gave him a tight hug. Thanks. I felt cold water trickling down my back. I turned around and saw Amy shooting me with a water gun. I stood on the couch and threw a pillow at Amy, which made her yell, Go shower, you stink. 1 week later. I'm back in boarding school. I whined at Amy in our dorm. Amy, take me home. We both don't have a license. So? No. I huffed and continued unpacking. We start classes today and I can see Jessica from afar. She was on her phone as usual, but she waved at me. I just rolled my eyes at her and went to class. She's probably mocking me. When recess came, Amy dragged me to the back of the school building. We got a text from Jessica to meet her, and me being me, I refused. Jessica was there and smiled at us. I know we got off on the wrong foot, but can you two be my tutor? Like, I really need your help. Really? This dunce is asking for our help? What's the catch? There is no catch. I genuinely need help for finals. gave me my eye contact with me and I sighed. Fine. 1 year later, finals had just finished and we were waiting for our test results. A few days passed and we got our results. Amy and I got straight A+, obviously, but then, Amy, Alicia, look! Jessica yelled. We've been tutoring her anytime we got and wow, it worked? She got straight A's. Congrats, Amy and I said in unison. To our surprise, Jessica gave us a hug. She cried too. For once, I hope she gets into her dream college. 3 months later, I closed my eyes. James and I were in a Zoom call, waiting for our results. This is so nerve-wracking. My heart is pumping out of my chest. I opened my eyes and so did James. We both gasped. I got in, we yelled. We both applied for Cambridge. It's been our dream since we were little kids. I checked my messages and I guess Amy did. She sobbed into my shoulder. Alicia, what am I supposed to do? You got the UCL, you'll do great. Without you? No. Yes, don't be so negative. 1 year later, Amy FaceTimed me. I found the one. You said this at least 10 times this week. But this time, I'm sure. In the frame, you could see James kissing my cheek. I don't need to see that, Alicia. Tell that to James. James hung up for me. The next day, I went to see Amy all the way in UCL. It was an hour train ride and when I got there, we squealed at each other. It has been a long time. She was with a guy. I gasped. Girl, you were for real? Yeah? I looked him up and down, judging him from head to toe. He was tall, sure, but not taller than James. Dirty blonde hair. Wait, Damien? You're dating this nerd? She laughs. Before you say anything, he approached me first. She whispered in my ear while walking to her apartment. Oh, he's a keeper. I whispered back at her. She had ordered Chinese food and we gobbled it all up before watching Netflix on the TV. I smiled. I'm happy. Are you happy? Yep. Nice. A few months passed. 12th April 2002. It's been so long since I saw Daddy. I miss him dearly. I promised him I'd see him after my mid-year exams. Alicia. Exams passed. James promised me to see his parents as well, so we're going on a trip from Brighton to London. James loaded his car with our bags and he started driving. We arrived at Brighton and Daddy was there with Nick's children, Tifa and Harry. I crouched and hugged them tightly. Hi! After chatting with Daddy and staying for a few days, James brought me to his parents. His parents greeted me with a warm hug before bringing me to eat. We stayed there for another 3 days. In the car when we were halfway back to campus, he stopped at a beach we visited on a road trip when we were 17. Let's go, he said. Where to? You'll see. He dragged me out of the car and carried me into the ocean. I yelled at him, James, it's cold. He just smiled up at me and ran around in the water, still carrying me. He set me down at the shore and went down on one knee. My heart fluttered. You may be my best friend forever, but will you be my only forever? I gasped. My eyes well up with tears. That's a rhetorical question, James. I pulled him up and we shared a gentle kiss. 1 year later. He's so pretty. You're so pretty, Alicia. She tucked my hair behind my ear as we stand together on the altar. We said our vows, our family and friends in the crowd of people, but right now, it's just us. He kissed me and suddenly it really is just us. In this quiet world, no one else, just us. 3 years later. My ears are ringing. It hurts, James, I cried. He held my hand tightly as we drove to the hospital. The traffic was horrible. Once we arrived, he brought me in and I was immediately sent to the ER. I had to start pushing after 2 hours. I feel sorry for all the moms. They have to go through this? Wow. I thought I saw Mommy at some point. It hurts me knowing she went through this. James had told Daddy when I was finally settled down and he rushed to the hospital. I really hope he's okay. It was a gorgeous baby girl. She had my blonde hair and had James's eyes. I fell asleep immediately due to exhaustion. When I woke up an hour later, Daddy still wasn't there. I sat up and James immediately helped me. I asked where Daddy was, and he didn't know. I got a call half an hour later. Hello? Is this Mrs. Alicia Jasmine? Yes. I am sorry to inform you, but your father was in a car crash and his condition is critical. My heart sank. Send him to the hospital of Brighton. Yes, ma'am. I was uneased, scared, and unsure of what to do. I demanded the nurse to bring me to him, by hook or by crook. I was in a wheelchair and brought to a ward where he was laying down. I held his hand tightly. Daddy? Huh? Who are you? Where's my Elissa? Elissa? I asked myself. That's Mommy's name. What do you mean? I mean, I don't have a daughter and I want my Elissa. My eyes welled up. No. A few hours back, I diagnosed him with dementia. I'm sorry, ma'am. James was behind me, squeezing my shoulder. He was also crying. I gripped James's hand tightly, crying, sobbing, begging for him to remember me. Let it out, babe, he said as I cried in his arms. Daddy looked at us as if we were crazy. He won't understand. He will never understand. Not anymore.